And welcome to another Justice video. Being trapped in quarantine the past couple of weeks, the number one enemy has been boredom. So I've been rewatching one of my favorite childhood TV shows, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think a lot of people can agree that one of the best characters in the show has to be Uncle Iroh. Always drinking his tea, talking about his White Lotus Pai Sho tile. He's just one of the greatest. I think one of my favorite scenes has to be when he's sitting in the tavern or bar or whatever it was, I can't quite remember, and he's playing a game of Pai Sho with someone, and they play the pieces out in a specific way so that it's like a secret code, letting each other know they're a member of this secret organization. So reaching that scene again in the series made me wonder if there was any rules you can find online for Pai Sho. And there actually are. I'll leave a link in the description. And another thing I found in the rules was a printable board and tile set. So I printed it out and put it on the cardboard, and while it might work for shits and giggles around the table, it's not really something I can bring anywhere. So I wanted to try and alleviate the quarantine boredom even more by coming out into my garage, into the wood shop, and trying to build a Pai Sho board. But it's not like I can just go out and get materials. I mean, it is a quarantine after all. So I'm gonna be looking around my property through all our scrap wood. Hopefully I can find some good plywood, 2x6s, 2x4s, whatever I can get my hands on. And I'll be back with what I found. So unfortunately, I couldn't find any good like plywood pieces or anything, but I did find some 2x6s. So I'm just gonna glue and clamp them together like this and attach them together so that I can get a bigger square piece to work with. But before I glue, I'm gonna have to clean the boards up a little bit to make sure they fit together really well. So I just have a pencil line about 1/4 inch on the side of each of these boards so that I can just take off a nice clean line, make sure they fit together really well. Unfortunately though, my table saw isn't quite working right now, so I'm gonna have to use a circular saw, and anyone who's used one of those knows they don't do the best at straight lines. So I had to sort of get creative and make myself like a contraption to sort of help me make sure my lines are straight on each of my boards. So I've got the boards lined up with how they're going to be glued. I just want to make some marks on each board so I can tell like which edges are supposed to meet.
One eternity later.
Alright, so we're in day 2, and I haven't even really looked at this since I got it all clamped up, so I'm not even sure how this is going to be looking like once I get it all undone. So let's check it out. Oh, interesting. It is stuck to the table. Ooh, there we go. Yep, I had some leakage on the bottom there. That's fun, but well, that's not too bad. I mean, that just means I probably got some good fillage in there, some good filling action. honestly, and I'm not even too worried about the look on the bottom. Because, I mean, we're always going to be looking at the top anyway, so I'm not really too concerned with that. But with the top, I mean, it's definitely not perfectly smooth. But, I mean, these boards have been out in the open on our property for who knows how long. So, I'm just going to get some sanding done on here and hopefully get it all smoothed out before I go in with my pencil lines to get all the grid marks. So to get this flattened out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some sandpaper onto this board using some spray adhesive so I can make sure I get like a good flat surface, because if I just use my hands then I'd probably get all kinds of little bumps and divots from my fingers and everything. So I'm going to do it this way. So after going at it with this thing for a while, I started to realize I wasn't making progress as quickly as I needed to. So I looked around and luckily I found this. So this should hopefully speed up the process a lot. So let's get to it. Oh, very nice. That ugly back still. Oh. I'm gonna work on trying to get the grid on, and then maybe I'll clean up the back, but if I do, that won't be on camera. So with the Pai Sho board, the grid, it's always an 18 by 18 grid. It'll be 18 by 18. And so if you just start from the center, you can kind of work your way out from there as long as you kind of know the math. So I'm going to be making all of my squares 1 1/4 inches each, because when I get around to making the tiles, I'm going to be using a 1 1/4 inch dowel, and you want the tile pieces to be about the same size as the width of the squares. So this is the current level of progress on the board. I just have the grid lines on and it mostly evened out and everything. But in the future, I do still want to clean up the back and get the paint on. But I don't have any paint here and my painting skills aren't very great. So I was thinking of passing it off to Aiden so he could get his creative touch on it and get it painted for me. That way it also turns into a little bit of a band project too. It is definitely not perfect, but honestly it turned out a lot better than I thought it would. Like, I'm honestly surprised that this is still all in one piece. I'm definitely going to be revisiting this one again with all the updates, especially because I still need to make all the tiles as well. You can't really play Pai Sho without tiles. And I really enjoyed coming out in the shop and making this and catching it all on video. I'm definitely going to have to do this again. And on that note, check us out on Facebook and Instagram at JustisBand and on Twitter at JustisWeStand. I hope everyone out there has a wonderful week, and until next time, catch you on the flip.
Giant light beams, flying bison, airbenders. I think I got Midnight Sun Madness. I'm going home to where stuff makes sense.